South African senior men's team recently got a taste of the high-quality hockey they've been craving after being invited to play in the FIH Pro League tournament in Potchefstroom, where head coach Gareth Ewing's squad took on the Netherlands, France, India and the team they famously beat at the Tokyo Olympics, Germany.
The last 2.5 weeks in Potch have just put perspective again to exactly probably where we are when we consistently rank ourselves against the top nations. You know, when you play in tournaments like the Olympics and the World Cups, it's once-off stuff, and anything can happen on a once-off. But yeah, to get the opportunity to play these 4 nations that we just did now consistently over 8 games was a massive challenge, but a massive learning curve.
South Africa continues to be the dominant force on the continent for various reasons, but essentially it comes down to a continuous talent pipeline that starts at school level and continues into tertiary education.
We've got probably the best junior structure in the world, just because of our school sports structure. I mean, our school sports are unbelievable, and it always just shows. I said, you know, when you look at our hockey teams playing at the Youth Olympics, you know, they're playing in the semi-finals at the Youth Olympics, and then afterwards, that is where the problem comes in. And I think that's where a lot of the African nations are sitting at the moment. They don't have such a strong junior structure.
The schools is a great platform, but I think outside of that, you know, our university setups, the varsity cups setup, the annual university inter-varsity tournaments, USA, it gives consistent competition and it keeps the players keen in a very tricky age group of their lives, but it gives them something to play towards and to stay in the setup.
The senior national women's team did not enjoy the same success at the Olympics as their male counterparts, but managed to comfortably secure their place at the World Cup later this year by winning the Africa Cup of Nations tournament, despite being a team in transition.
They obviously didn't have a campaign that they wanted at the Olympics, so it's always tough when you come away from a big tournament. And, you know, we talk about a cycle. You know, it's a 4-year cycle, so all of a sudden you end your cycle on a quite a low. You know, the coaches just, you know, stop. So I'm sure, you know, the interim coaches are in and the management is in. So it's a complete new support staff that's coming in. So that's the first thing. You know, the selectors need to look at some new players, and that's going to take time.
With both the senior men's and women's teams having qualified for their respective World Cups, the future appears bright for South African hockey. But there's still plenty of work that needs to be done to ensure that the progression made since the disappointment of missing the 2016 Olympic Games continues on an upward trajectory and sees Africa's 2 top teams close the gap even further on their opponents who currently occupy the top 10 rankings in world hockey. Sias, Plessis, CGTN, Pretoria, South Africa.